Hi there, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 328. I am Lisa, also known as fibernymph. Today is Wednesday, December 4th, and it is, I don't know, it's probably after 3 in the afternoon now. I was not planning to record today. This was not at all on my agenda. However, I ended up having a free afternoon that I also was not counting on. I was supposed to run errands out like where I used to live, about an hour west of here. But that changed because I don't know how much you can see since the light's kind of weird and everything, but there's a lot of snow out there. I'm looking over on our deck, and like our deck table has probably, I would say, at least 5 or 6 inches on it. And that's just snowfall. That's not blowing snow. It has not, thankfully, been blowing. However, we're under a winter weather advisory through tomorrow around noon. And I just really did not feel like driving all the way out there and not getting home until later in the evening when I'd have to be driving in the dark and presumably in snow. So I rearranged things so that I didn't have to go out there today, which was awesome and amazing. I still had to go up to the post office up here, but that's only a couple miles from here, and honestly, that was far enough. It was gross out. Let's get into knitting, shall we? Oh, you know what? First, I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing, because I always forget. Last week I forgot, even though I had it even written down in the show notes. Today I am wearing, oh hey, we're also at a different angle. Hang on a second. Let me interrupt my thought. We are in this angle, not just because I want you to see my Christmas tree. It's a bonus. But my phone, because I wasn't planning on recording, I didn't have my phone fully charged, so I've got it plugged in. And it's a fairly short cord, so I have to be super close to the wall right here. So I'm just sitting on this little tiny chair. It's like a little kid's chair. But I thought I can sit here because the phone has to face this way. It's not the best for lighting because there's light coming in every direction. But if I angle myself just so, I don't think the blowout will be too bad, except with my hair. Oh my gosh. It looks so super red in this crazy light. And it's not, I mean, it is actually, it's kind of fading out into this weird red. I don't know what's going on with it. But anyway, let's just go with it. Red is a holiday color, so I'm ready for the holiday. At any rate, what I'm wearing is my sweater that I made earlier this year out of a Serendipity sweater set that I do for the shop. This one's out of my cozy worsted weight base, and they don't have colorway names because they're all one-of-a-kind sets. But the sweater itself is the Ladies Classic Raglan Pullover by Jane Richmond. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's just, honestly, it's just a regular pullover, classic Raglan ladies pullover. And it's very comfortable. I made it with 3/4 length sleeves because I ran out of yarn because of how I did it. And actually, I don't know that I totally ran out of yarn. I think I ran out of yarn because I was trying to keep the colors in the same way that they were in the body, and that didn't quite work. But it was fine because mostly this sweater spent its life this year on a hanger in my booth at shows. It was a sample. But now that its show season's over, I get to wear it. And I'm hoping to knit a different sweater out of a different Serendipity sweater set over the winter that I can use for next year's show season. You know, change things up a bit. Okay, so let's move on to the knitting and some finished objects, because I'm going to just blow you away with how exciting these finished objects are that I have to show you. They're just incredible. I have 4 dishcloths. But you know what? They weren't even started last week when I recorded. In fact, I started them when I was editing last week's podcast. And so this isn't super impressive because I think I knit the first 3 within a day, and then I finished the last one this morning. It was half done. So they knit up so fast. Anyway, they're obviously not done because I still have to weave their tails in. Although this is kind of a fun effect too. I don't know. If you need to floss something while you're washing your dishes. This is Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth pattern. There are several Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth patterns on Ravelry. This one is by Ruth Slate. And she even has a few different versions of this out, if I remember correctly. It's basically, you're knitting on the diagonal, and then you're getting to so far, and then you start decreasing. So you're increasing, then you're decreasing. I only did mine out to 36 stitches before I started doing the decreases because I like a smaller dishcloth, and so does my mother, which is important because these are actually gift dishcloths for my mother. So, and when I make them smaller, I can get 2 dishcloths out of 1 ball of dishcloth cotton, a 50-gram ball. I don't remember if I've ever done the full 40, I think the full pattern is 44 stitches maybe. I don't remember if I can get 2 out of that or not. I don't usually do them that large. But anyway, I think they're pretty. I love this. This is my favorite dishcloth pattern. And I know there's one that does little eyelets in the center. I don't like that one as much. I like this nice garter stitchy one. So the yarn that I used was, sorry, my notes are handwritten again this week. Lily Sugar and Cream Ombres. At least I'm pretty sure they're both ombre. This may not be actually an ombre. I don't really know what this is classified as. Whatever. Actually, I think it must be ombre because one of them is called Swimming Pool, and I'm going to assume it's the blue one. So this one must be Mod Ombre. Yeah, so I did it 36 stitches, US 8 needles. That's my default needle for doing dishcloths out of this kind of dishcloth cotton. So I just have to weave in the ends, and then I will wrap them up, and they will be ready to give to my mama for Christmas when she comes up this year. So that's it. That's my finished objects this week. Isn't it stunning? Yeah. It's been a busy week. In my defense, I have been dying my little heart out this week. Not getting to craft quite as much, although I do have more crafty stuff to show with you because I have whips. But first we're going to talk about the whips that are not whips yet, because they are not even cast on yet, but they should be, because I told you about them last week, but they're not started yet because, well, lots of reasons. Let's go one by one, shall we? The hat for my daughter. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you recall, I started knitting a hat for my daughter out of some of my Bonafide base in the Mirth or Reverie, whichever the winey colored one is. Gosh, I can't even remember. Mirth. I started knitting that. I was kind of designing it on the fly, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. And then I'm like, I don't know where to go from here in this part of the design, so I left it. And then I started looking at patterns, and I found the Delicate Grace hat pattern, which I think I showed you last week. And I decided I was going to knit that for her instead out of that Winter Red, Sunshine, and Fluff Held Together that I showed you, the one mitt that I made last week. Well, I started thinking about it, and I was going through project pages from a while ago, and I realized the hat that I knit for her last year was a fairly similar color. So I decided, no, I don't want to do that this year. I don't want to give her the same color. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll just dye a different yarn combo. But then I didn't do that. And I was just seriously just vacillating. And I was at the point where I was obviously thinking way too much about this hat. And part of the problem, I think I may have mentioned, is I just haven't gotten a lot of input from her as to what she wanted. And I hadn't talked to her much recently. And so finally, though, I heard from her yesterday. She called, and I'm like, hey, this hat you'd like for Christmas, can you give me any more insight as to what you would actually like? So after chatting with her a bit, basically, she would like a beanie, fitted, not slouchy. She would like it to be not sparkly and not pom-pommy. I'm like, okay, I can work with that. I said, how about colors? Like, do you have any particular colors in mind? She said, well, not pink. I'm like, okay, good. Glad I'm not. I mean, not that Christmas, that winter red was pink, but it sort of has a pink undertone to it, I think. So, glad I wasn't doing that. And that original yarn I was using in the first hat, that wasn't pink either. That was more purple than pink. But anyway, she doesn't want pink. So she basically landed on either dark blue or dark green. And I said, okay, I can do that. So since talking to her, I started thinking about yarn I have on hand. I was really trying to avoid dyeing more yarn if I didn't have to, because I've got a lot of yarn, both yarn of mine and stash yarn that I have not dyed. It's other yarn. And I came up with this. I've got some Malabrigo Rios in my stash that is really, it's a nice kind of teal. Like it's a greenish, there's green and teal in it. And it's fairly dark. It's the Aguas colorway. I think this would work. I have knit hats out of Rios for her before. I love Rios for gift giving because it's superwash and it's a nice yarn. And I don't have to worry about, or they don't have to worry about how to take care of it. And she has had a history of felting things. So I think this is what I'm going to use for the hat. And then pattern-wise, I've decided on yet another pattern for this hat after talking to her yesterday. And that coincided with seeing a pattern on Instagram. The December of Designers, or the Designers of December. I haven't quite gotten the hold of what this is all about, other than the fact that it's to raise awareness and be a fundraiser for various mental health initiatives. I think that each day there's another featured designer. I'm totally just guessing at this based off of what I've seen. I do know that Christy from Yarn Cafe Creations is the one spearheading this. So I would go to her Instagram feed and look for information about this, because I think that might be the best place to find it. But from what I can tell is there's a new featured designer every day. They're offering a pattern. I think it's available at a discount, at least the one I bought yesterday was. And then all the profits from, I think it's just from their featured day, the profits from their pattern, they're donating to the mental health initiative of their choice. So I think that's a very good cause. I chose to buy the one from yesterday because I thought it was an excellent pattern for Emma after I thought about the conversation we had. And it's by Isabell Kraemer. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. I had them on at one point and then I took them off and now I don't have them. So if I have to read anything tiny, we're out of luck. Isabell Kraemer, and the hat is called Emmi, E-M-M-I, which I thought, well, that's kind of appropriate. My daughter's name is Emma. I did not print out the first page of the pattern that has the big picture of it, but here is a small picture of it. That's not color work, that is texture you're seeing in that hat. Here, I'll read you the description. Emmi is a casual hat, worked in the round from the folded brim to the top. Broken rib stitch is used for the entire body of the hat with decreases worked into pattern to keep them as invisible as possible, with an optional pom-pom. We won't be pomming, she wants no pom-pom. Yeah, so it is, it's texture, which is fine. That'll be fast, it'll be easy, it'll look nice, it'll be very classic, and hopefully she likes it in this yarn. So that is what I'm doing for Emma's hat. And I don't think Emma watches the podcast. And if you do, Emma, hey, surprise, you're getting a hat out of that yarn. And if you don't like it, let me know now. So that's the first whip that is not yet a whip. The second one, gloves for my son, the convertible gloves. First of all, thank you so much to everybody who wrote to me with ideas, either for good yarns that I might want to use, because remember last week I was saying, oh, I'd really like to use a heathered yarn, but it needs to be superwash. So I got several ideas from people. Thank you very, very much. And a couple of people also said, why don't you just knit the yarn or knit the gloves out of whatever yarn you want and then dye them black after they're knit? And the first person that said that, I'm like, why don't I do that? Like, first of all, why did that not even occur to me? That never occurs to me. Like, over dyeing a finished garment never occurs to me. I always think about dyeing the yarn before you make the thing. I never think about the fact that you can dye something after it's already a thing. I don't know what it is that I just don't, that never occurs to me. Whatever. Anyway, that is an option. However, I ended up over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and everything this week. I went on KnitPicks and I ended up ordering, oh gosh, I can't remember what it is now. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't write it down either. I ended up ordering 3 skeins of KnitPicks something. A worsted weight superwash heathered yarn. Y'all are yelling it because I'm sure you probably know. Anyway, they come in 50-gram skeins, and since these are convertible gloves, I didn't know how much I might really end up needing, so I bought 3 balls. I bought it in one of the gray heathers, and I'll show it to you next week because hopefully it'll be here by then. Other project that is not started yet is the hat for my husband. Thank you also to people who sent along ideas for that and pattern ideas. I appreciate that. I think that one is actually going to be a very last minute knit if I do it at all at this point. The gift thing that is not yet a whip, well, it sort of is, but it isn't, that I really want to make is for my mom, which I just made her dishcloths, but like I have all these things I'd like to knit for my mom because my mom never used to want knitted stuff because she's in Florida, but she's suddenly changed her mind in the last couple of years and now she really likes knitted stuff. So she's getting her dishcloths and, well, she's always liked the dishcloths though. But I was cleaning the yarn room the other day and I found the bag that I had all of my materials for when I was making those cute little pumpkins last month or October, whenever I was making them. And I found that I had one started that I had never finished. I'm like, oh, you are an unfinished pumpkin. So I thought, oh, I should make my mom some pumpkins. I mean, even though she won't use them until next fall, she'll have them. So now I want to make her pumpkins. But the other thing I want to make is trees because the same designer, Stacy Lakefeld, who is Fit Food Art. I thought I may have printed the pattern out and left it in the printer. Anyway, I think it's Fit Food Art is her company name, her design company. She designed these super cute trees. They're called Knit Evergreen trees. Yeah, Knit Evergreen trees. And they're 3 different versions of different pine trees. And they're so darn cute. You've probably seen them or heard about them on other podcasts. So I'm like, I want to make some for me. I want to make some for her. We all need all the trees and all the pumpkins. So I may end up doing that. And the other thing I think I'd like to make her, but I may wait and see if she likes the one I made myself, is one of those woven houndstooth cowls that cowl that I made out of the DK weight yarn, and then I seamed it together and I left the fringe here, and it's so much fun. I love that cowl. I wear it a lot. She might like that. Although I'd have to make it out of something lighter for her because she's in Florida again. I don't know if she'd get much use out of a really warm one. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see till she's up here and I'll see if she wants one. But anyway, I want to make my mom all the things. And the other things I kind of want to make are all the things that I bought patterns for during the gift along pattern sale last week. Oh my goodness. This is such a downfall for me. I fall down the rabbit hole every year. Every year. And I look at all the patterns and I end up buying a ton of patterns. And this year I actually went about it in kind of an organized way. Like I had a plan. I was going through every designer And I will admit that if their picture that they put in the designer thread in the gift along Ravelry board, if that picture and what's in that picture doesn't totally grab me, I usually don't really go any further to look. So if you're a designer and you do gift along, put as many pattern pictures on there as you can, a good representation of what you do, because I think that's probably really beneficial. Anyway, of the ones I did, I ended up purchasing 12 patterns from the gift along, and I queued a whole lot more than that. And that was where I did better this year than I have in the past, because in the past I've just bought like tons and tons of patterns, but this year I limited myself. I had a budget, stuck to it, and so now I have a whole bunch of them queued for some other time if I decide I want to make them. But I bought 6 sweater patterns, 2 shawls, 1 cowl, 1 hat, and 2 Christmas stockings. What? I've never had the desire ever to knit Christmas stockings, but I found these 2 really cute Christmas stockings, and I don't remember who the designer was right now. One of them had sheep on it, and one of them had owls on it, and I bought those 2. She had some other ones also, but I bought the one because the owls I would make for Bill, and the sheep I would make for me, if I actually make them. Obviously, that's not happening this year, but we'll see. All right, so let's now move on to actual whips, of which there is one that I'm going to talk to you about this week. And that is my Advent mini project that I'm making. So I think I told you I got a bunch of Advent calendars this year, and one of them is a mini skein yarn calendar that I got from Sweet Sparrow Yarn. So I've been having a lot of fun opening that up every morning. Did the 4th one today. And the project I decided to do is a cowl, a tube cowl. And I used Emmi Florence Edwards from Stranded Podcast, her pattern, the Litmus Cowl. I used it basically just as my my starting point. I love that picture of her. It's so cute. Anyway, I'm not doing stripes the way those are. I mean, those are just stripes that go from, you know, a color. I think she used a mini set for all the colors, and then this was an undyed base that she carries that she used in between. I'm not doing that. I am doing each successive day's mini from the Advent calendar. And my original thought was I would either do like a knit one, slip one, kind of round whenever I came to the next yarn, you know, just to differentiate, or maybe I would fade them together, you know, do a few alternating rounds to fade them, sort of how I did with that scarf last year during Advent. So I got started, and I got to my first point where I was going to add in the second color to fade it in, but this is what happened. Color work just happened. And you might say, Lisa, that's insane. But no, I'm serious. Color work just accidentally happened. I was knitting and I was partway through the round and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? That wasn't my plan. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I kept going. So that's what I'm doing. Every time I switch a yarn, I'm doing 8 rounds. So I'm doing 8 rounds of the color, and then I'm doing 8 color work rounds with the next color. Then I'm doing 8 rounds of that next color. And then 8 rounds. So everything's 8 rounds, essentially. There might be 9 somewhere, but it doesn't matter. Some of that is enough to use up the entire ball of yarn, or the entire mini. Some of it, it's not. Like this green one from yesterday, that one I used all of it. I have a little bit of this red one left, and I purposely saved some of the first day's color because I'm going to use it to fade in with whatever day 24 is here. And then this is a provisional cast on, so then it'll get seamed together at the end to make a big long cowl. So basically, one color is working about 3 inches, I guess. Yeah. I'm not sure how long that's going to yield in the cowl. I guess if one color is going 3 inches, and there's 24 days, it's going to be 3 times 24. For some reason I was thinking it would only be 2 times 24, but that doesn't make any sense, does it? Maybe it was because that first one I only did, you know, the 2 segments of it. I don't know. I don't really care how long it's going to be because it's going to be an infinity cowl that I can loop around my neck 2 or 3 times. And that's what I was going for. So it's all good. I'm fine with it, but whatever. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. Aren't these colors beautiful? So this was day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. This is called Butterscotch. Today was Butterscotch. This was Pippi. This was Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening, or whatever that Robert Frost thing is. The reference. I can't remember what this one is. Peppermint something. Peppermint Mine, maybe. Super pretty colors. And I'm really sort of hoping that this is how they're going to work for the whole thing, where they're going to be like a soft variegated and then a more semi-solid color each the whole way through. That would be great if it worked out that way, but I'm just going to go with it however it works out and let them do their thing. So, oh, and the little stitch marker that's on here, this is one of my stitch markers that I got from my stitch marker advent calendar. That's a little Christmas tree, and today we got a progress keeper, which is this cute little reindeer. And my stitch marker advent calendar is from Adorn It. This Steph. Hi Steph, if you're watching. So let me show you real quick what the other days were. I am amazed. I was not expecting as many things as I'm getting, because I thought I was just getting like a fancy stitch marker every day, but no. Some of the days have like ring markers in with them too. I don't remember. I think this might have been day 1. I don't actually remember the order now, but there was a mitten and some ring markers. And then these are the ring markers that went with that little Christmas tree. And this one is this little kind of sash that says "'Tis the Season." And that has ring markers with it also. So they are so much fun. I keep wanting to decorate with them. I wish I have to think of a way that I can display them because they're so cute. And I know I'm not going to actually get to use all of them this holiday season, but I want to see them because they're cute. Okay. What else? Am I working on anything else? No, that's it. I have ideas though. This is dangerous. I have ideas. Do you remember the Scrappy Cowl that I started a couple of months ago now? It was supposed to be a tube cowl. Tube cows seem to be a theme for me right now. Anyway, I started, it was a Mina Phillip pattern, and it was made with hand spun. And so I started it, but mine ended up being way big. My gauge was not her gauge, and it was just gigantic. And then one day I realized it was actually big enough that I could steek it and add some generous button bands and turn it into a sweater. So that's what I was going to do. Yeah. Okay, so I haven't worked on that in quite a while, ever since I decided I was going to turn it into a sweater. It's long enough right now to be, like, the body is long enough. I'll need to put ribbing on the bottom at some point, but, like, otherwise it's long enough, and I needed to decide what to do for sleeves. But I wasn't sure how to deal with the sleeves, because I need to knit the sleeves and then put them onto the circular needle to continue knitting up and do raglan decreases for the top part of the yoke and everything. But I just wasn't sure how I wanted to do that, because since the whole thing is basically striping, because I'm using a whole bunch of different hand spuns, and I can't remember now. Oh, here, it's right here. Let me look. I could show it to you instead of just talking about it. Oh boy, wait, like there's a whole bunch of hand spun just sitting on top of it. Okay, here's the actual project. So this is okay, sort of a mess. So this is what it looks like. So it's just a bunch of stripes. I did not do any fading. I kind of thought maybe I did, but I did not. So that's what it looks like. But I don't think I want to do stripy sleeves because that is going to give an illusion of being quite wide, and I don't really need that visual. So I thought, well, maybe I'd do like color block chunk sleeves, and then there'd be bigger segments of color, and I could do them, you know, the same way on both sides. That could work. But then I was watching Grace from Babbel's Traveling Yarns the other day, and I don't remember if it was a regular episode or if it was one of her Vlogmas episodes. I think it was maybe one of her regular episodes. She was talking about a sweater that she was going to be making, and I don't remember if it was out of minis. She may have been talking about like maybe doing a sweater out of her minis that she spun last year from an advent calendar she had. But then she said about the sleeves, and she's like, the sleeves are such a conundrum because if you're doing that and you get down here, like what are you going to do with the sleeves, because they can get kind of wonky. And I said, yes they can, Grace. And she didn't answer me because she couldn't hear me. But for whatever reason, when she said that, my brain lit up with an idea. And it was, well, just knit it back and forth. Do you know what I mean by that? So, like, here's the sweater. Like, the body is here. And you normally would knit sleeves down. What if, instead, I started knitting a separate piece across like this? So I'd still have stripes here, but the stripes would be this way on the sleeves instead of around my arms. And then I don't know what I would do on the bottom. I haven't thought that far ahead, but I know I could do it. That's a possibility. And I got sort of excited about that. Because I thought, that's kind of cool. I could do that. It would be different. I mean, this is going to be a wonky ass sweater anyway. Why not try that and just see what happens? So anyway, that's my idea for a whip, and I may end up working on that soon. I really, really would like to finish this sweater before I cast on any more, and I really, really want to cast on my weekender since I've got that yarn sitting in there. I just haven't gotten there yet, and I need to finish something, or else I just need to accept the fact that I'm not going to finish this right now and move on to the weekender. But I don't want to start anything else that I might not finish this year because I don't want to enter 2020 with a bazillion whips. I did so well this year at like knitting down my whips. I don't want to enter the new year with a whole bunch of whips undone, unfinished, because then they wouldn't be whips, they'd be finished objects. Stay tuned. All right. Spinning. Let's talk about that, right? I finished, talking about finishing things, I finished the fiber that I had been spinning that is probably going to be a gift. I still haven't decided yet. But here's the skein. Check it out. So I did a 3-ply. It's a traditional 3-ply. And it's very dark in here all of a sudden. It's such a dreary day. I'm sorry. If I turn the lights on, though, it's going to turn everything yellow. So I'm trying to avoid that. So this is over 300 yards, and I'm not sure. I want to say it's probably going to be like a DK weight, heavy sport, light DK weight. And then I had a little bit left over, as I knew I would. Actually had a good bit left over on the one bobbin. The other two were almost perfect. But the third bobbin, I had a good bit left over, so I just chain plied it. So I have a little bit extra yardage. I don't know if I'll give that with the gift or not. But anyway, I was happy with it. I mean, I'm happy with how it's spun up. I'm just not happy I'm not sure if I'm happy with the color, the way it turned out for its intended recipient. So we'll see, but I have to soak it yet. I haven't done that. So we'll see how I feel about it once it's completely finished. Other than that, I have started spinning my Advent bats. I'm having so much fun with them. I'm going to have to take a picture and insert it here. The Advent bats that I have are from Joanna of Knit Spin Farm, and it's a bat calendar, and they're just so darn cute. And this was today's. I haven't spun today's yet. That's much brighter on the camera than it really is in real life. It's a little darker. But they're blending together pretty well. And what I decided I'm going to do with these is I'm going to spin them end to end. So I am using my Sidekick with my jumbo bobbin, which is not my preferential wheel, but it has the jumbo bobbin, so I'm using it. I'm going to spin them end to end, keep them as a singles, and then I'm going to felt them. Like, not felt them, but like I'm going to soak them and fool them a little bit. I like that. I've done that with yarn before that I've spun, and it's kind of a fun technique. So basically you just take your skein and you, like, when you're soaking it, you soak it in hot water, but instead of just gently leaving it in there, you kind of squish it together to do that, a little bit of felting to it. And it helps give the yarn some extra strength and stability, because I'm spinning it woolen as much as I can. I hadn't spun those each day that I opened them because I still had that plying project on the wheel, so I had 3 in a row that I spun all in one day, which was actually good because it takes me a little while to get into a rhythm spinning worsted or spinning woolen, because that's not my default spin. My default spin is a fairly fine worsted spin. So anytime I try to switch up to woolen, it takes me a while to get in the groove. So I don't know. I may hang on to them and do, a few at a time that way. So we'll see. But I'm enjoying them, and I'm really, really liking having the fiber calendar. I'm having so much fun having advent calendars other than the ones that I have made in the past, because those are the only ones I've ever had. I was thinking about this. I've never had an advent calendar, even as a kid. Like, that was not something my parents ever did. We weren't an advent calendar kind of family, and I don't know that I ever gave my kids advent calendars when they were growing up either. I'm not sure why. It just wasn't a tradition for us. But I'm having fun with the ones that I got. So those are the 3 that I bought, I've talked about now. But the other one I have is one that was from a swap that I did in the Ninja Chickens group, the tea and herb swap. So I have this basket sitting out here that has all of my stuff that I got from my swap mates. There was 5 of us in our group, so we each sent the other 4 people 6 things. So I've been opening those every day, and that has been a lot of fun too. I have to keep the basket out here though, because apparently some of these things smell good to Tippy, and she keeps wanting to destroy it. So it has to stay out here where it'll be safe. Okay, let's see what else. Spinning. Oh, another idea. I am so full of ideas this week. So I told you, or showed you, I think, last time, the minis that I spun up recently from my fiber advent calendar that I dyed last year, the holiday harmony set, the countdown set. I hadn't spun them at the time, so I did them all within the last couple of months. So this is my basket of all of them, but I did not do them end to end. I did them each individually. I didn't really have a plan for them, and I've thought about a couple different things since spinning them, but I just had this brainstorm idea the other day. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave with them. And I think what I'll do is I'll use my little loom that I have and warp it probably with some commercial yarn. I don't know. I haven't decided on the warp yet. But a lighter weight yarn than what these are spun up. So my warp will be light, so this will be a weft dominant weaving. And I'm going to weave with these. Now, I think I'm just going to weave one after the other, and I may do color management and kind of do it in a rainbowy kind of pattern, or at least light colors. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided that either. But I think I'll get enough yardage doing that in order to make another one of those cowls like I made with the fringe. So that's my plan for those. I think that's what I'm going to do. So stay tuned. Okay, next I have 2 pages today. We have a drawing for this week, and that was for the Hakova Sheli pattern that I showed you last week. The pattern is by Sarah Jordan. It was that fun stripy brioche hat that I had knit. I had test knit it for her. Sarah was kind enough to offer a copy of the pattern for a drawing, and I'm pairing that up with any skein of fingering weight self-striping available in my shop. There's quite a bit in there, so I think you probably can find something in the shop that you would like. So I did the drawing right before I started to record, and this was the drawing that I was doing both from the Ravelry group and comments from last week's YouTube video. The comments in YouTube. Now, not everybody's comments in the video were actually entries for the drawing, because some of them had nothing to do with cookies, because that was the prompt. Tell me your favorite holiday cookie or your favorite cookie in general. At any rate, I counted 17 comments in the YouTube comments, plus 39 comments from the thread. So it was 56 comments altogether. And I'm counting the 2 through 39 in Ravelry, and then the 17 YouTube comments were the ones from like 40 through 56. However that works out. Anyway, random number generator chose comment number 38. And that was actually one of the very last Ravelry comments, and that is Beagle Mom Knitter, and that is Angela. So congratulations, Angela. Thank you for entering. Her favorite cookie is chocolate chip. Can't say that I disagree with that. They're very good. Angela, when you see this, please PM me and let me know that you know you won. And go to my shop, pick out a skein of fingering weight self-striping yarn, and I will get that in the mail to you. And I will also let Sarah know that you're the winner, and she can gift the pattern to you directly through Ravelry. So, all right, that's everything for that. I wanted to mention the 20 and 20 because I talked about it last week, and there's been a bunch of chatter about it. So I'm really glad that that resonated with a lot of you. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I thought I would make a little bit of clarification about it right now because I don't have the thread up for it yet. I will soon. But I just wanted to clarify some things. Number one, I'm planning for this to be a very low-key, non-stress event, a long thing to participate in. Okay, the whole idea is for it to be something encouraging, something that you can use kind of in the way that works best for you, to light a fire under you in whatever way you know will help you. Because we all work differently in that way. It's kind of like when I do like Stash Dash or you know, when I was doing my Whipstravaganza this year, trying to get things done. I'm not competing with anybody except myself. And that's what I want this to be. I want it to be something that will help you, you know, use up patterns that you've owned, you know, make use of them, or use stash yarn, whatever it is that you would like to do. Because it sounds like a lot of you have similar things that you'd like to be doing that way. So I think how I'm going to do this is we're going to do it for patterns. So you can choose 20 patterns, stash yarns, 20 stash yarns that you want to use, and not necessarily individual skeins, but like if you have, you know, 3 skeins of one yarn and you want to use it in one project, that would count as one yarn. And I'm also going to do it for fiber, because if you're a spinner and you have any kind of fiber stash, kind of like I do, you might want to spin through some of your fiber stash next year. You are welcome to do all of those. You can just choose one. I was really kind of considering, oh, we could do 20 and 20 for sewing patterns, or 20 and 20 for weaving projects, or 20 and 20 for whatever else. I think I want to keep it at just those 3. You are welcome to personally do your own 20 and 20 for whatever you want to do, and you're welcome to share that with us. But for the sake of the this particular event in the group, the year-long event, I think I'm going to keep it just officially at yarn, patterns, and fiber. Now, I had mentioned about declaring what you want to do for the next year. Here's the deal. I know myself that if I say this month, okay, I declare I'm going to knit these 20 patterns next year, by April, probably about 50% of those patterns are going to hold no appeal to me whatsoever. Because that's just who I am. My likes change. Your likes change. So I don't think it's necessary for us to declare everything we want to use for whole next year up front. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. So I think how I'm going to do this is we're going to do everything on a quarterly basis. So in December, once I get this thread up, I would like you to choose whatever patterns or yarn or fiber or whichever ones of these you're doing and declare what you want to aim for within that first quarter. Now, if you want to put the whole 20 out there right up front, that's fine. But then when we get to the end of March and we're getting ready to start into the second quarter, you're going to have the option of switching some out and changing things if you want to, because I understand that. And again, this is for your benefit. It's not, there's no other point to any of this except for you to do what's going to help you get some stuff done. Now, I would encourage you, like within the quarter, to not change things up, because I know if I know that I can change things anytime, I don't usually stick with anything. Hence, like my daughter's hat, I've changed my mind on that like 3 times within the past 2 weeks. So for the sake of trying to get ourselves, disciplined, give a good thought to what you want to do for that first quarter, set your goals for that first quarter, and then work on those. And then we can move forward. I hope that makes sense. Somebody asked, if you're doing the yarn, does the yarn have to be cataloged in Ravelry? Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. I don't think I have any yarn cataloged in Ravelry anymore. I took it all out when I did that huge de-stash a couple years ago. No, this is all honor-based. It's the honor system, because again, if you choose to say you're using stash yarn and it's actually something you bought last week, technically it's still stash, but it's not hurting anybody else. And maybe it's not hurting you either. No, this is honor-based. So, whatever, your stash, your patterns, your fiber, as long as it's stuff that you have, that's the goal of this, for it to be something that you already have that you want to use. The spirit of the event is for that, but it's, your call what you decide to do. What else do I have in here? It's getting so dark. Sorry. None of it has to be fibernymph dyeworks yarn or fiber. Just putting that out there. If it is, and you are also going to do monthly makes next year, you can double dip, but it's not a prerequisite that anything that you use for 20 and 20 is my yarn or fiber. There will be a chatter thread. There will be an FO thread. And I will give more details about how we're going to do all of that closer to when that's going to start. I will be drawing quarterly prizes. So that's a little bit more in depth than what I told you last week. Hopefully it'll all become clear. If you have any more questions, feel free to post them either in your YouTube comments or in the Ravelry thread for this episode, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Like I said, hopefully I'll have that thread up for the 20 and 20 very soon. Okay, we're going to move on to 10% now, because this is getting long. It's winter out there. That's a fun 10% thing. Thanksgiving was lovely here at our house. It was very quiet, just Bill and I. I made a little turkey. It was just the right amount of food for us. I didn't have a ton of leftovers, which is awesome. But the leftovers we did have were good, and I ended up making soup last night with the last of it, so that was yummy. I'm enjoying Vlogmases. It's so funny. I'm not doing Vlogmas. I told you I'm going to do some special episodes in December, but the past few days I've been filming little clips of things, and I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe I could just splice them together into sort of a Vlogmas thing. And so then I sat down this morning and I was going to edit it all together, and I'm like, I don't have time to do this. This is why I'm not doing Vlogmas. So I'm not doing Vlogmas. But I'm enjoying everyone else's. It's a lot of fun. And I'm basically just kind of trying to plan out what I want to do the rest of this year, both personally and work-wise. I have a lot of ideas for next year. I have a lot of ideas for what things that are going to go on in December in the shop. And I'm also planning for my mom's visit because they will be coming up on the 22nd and being here for a week over Christmas. So that'll be fun. All right, real quick now, shop news. I'm going to start out with the November monthly makes winners. The Grand Grams champion grams have been updated at the top of the chatter thread. I think it looks like most of the competition is thrown in the towel on this one because we have one person who is way up there in grams. So I don't know. Somebody could still pull out a whole bunch of projects that they've been stealth making all year and have not bothered to put in yet, because that was perfectly allowable to do that. So we'll see how that goes, but it's fun. Anyway, for November, we have a chatter winner and an FO winner. Let me show you your prize options first. So 3 prize options this month. As always, 2 winners, 3 prize options. The first one is a skein of inversibles on the mountain tweed base. I started doing mountain tweed inversibles this fall. That was fun. Actually, just for my last show, that was the first time I did them. This is the cranberry and forest color combination, so it's a nice holiday, wintry color combination. So that's one prize. Another prize is a happenstance sock blank, which is also, it's just a random dyed, random dyed holiday kind of colors, you know, just fun. And I'm pairing that up with a deep red mini, so you can use that for heels and toes if you are doing that. This does not have sparkle in it. And lastly, I have a mini set of my Ridgetop DK yarn. So this is my non-superwash yarn. And this is also a nice collection of just sort of wintry colors that I thought would be fun if you wanted to make something. So 5 20-gram minis of that. Okay, so those are the prizes. Here are our winners. So for the chatter thread, posts for November were 1,272 through 1,745. Random number generator chose post number 1689, and that was Maria, who is Seductive Berry. Congratulations, Maria. Please let me know that you know you won and what your top 2 prize choices are, and I will get it out to you. And then in our FO thread, there were, oh crap, I didn't write down how many there were. I want to say there were 17 maybe, 17 people did finished objects in November. I could be wrong on that. But random number generator did choose number 8, and that is Christina 4635. So congratulations, Christina. You please let me know when you know you've won and what your top 2 prize choices are and your mailing info, and I will get that out to you as well. So congratulations. One more month of monthly makes. And yes, we are doing it next year. I said that last week. No, I still don't have the thread up with the change of rules for next year because I'm still mulling some of them over. I don't want to change things too much that would completely change the flavor of the along, but there are some things that need to change. So stay tuned. I'll have that up soon as well. Thank you so much to everybody who shopped my Thanksgiving weekend sale. That was amazing. I think everything is shipped out now. I think the last few packages went out today from that. So thank you so very much. I do have some December specials that are going to be going up all through the month. Last year I did the 12 Yays of Christmas, which was 12 specials that I offered like pretty much every other day from December 1st through Christmas Eve. I'm not doing that this year only because Thanksgiving was so late, and then the Thanksgiving weekend sale like went over into December, so that kind of messed that up. So I will be doing different specials throughout the rest of the month beginning this coming Sunday. So I would say watch Instagram, the fibernymph Dye Works Instagram feed. Be signed up to the newsletter. Check the homepage because I will have a banner up about this. And what's another way for you to... I'll try to remember to post something in the Ravelry group about it as well. Facebook. The Facebook page is also a good place to stay attuned into all this stuff. So anyway, December specials. Yay. What else? Oh, the dye to order things for those 3 new Christmas colorways. Pretty much all of the On Frozen Pond has shipped unless you ordered it along with another dye to order that's not ready yet. Otherwise, that should be on its way to you. Most of the all of the Holly plus Pine is dyed. I need to finish getting it reskeined, and most of the 12 Days of Christmas are dyed. I'll be dyeing the rest of it tomorrow and hopefully getting it all reskeined and shipped out Friday and Saturday, depending on when you placed your order, because that's where the 3-week shipment thing comes in. So hopefully by the end of this weekend, all of those dye to order orders will be out. Okay, I think that is everything I've got for you today. I'm gonna go. It's weird because it's getting very dark outside and it's lighter in here, and I'm backlit by my tree. It's so stunning, or something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Have a lovely rest of your week. Again, feel free to leave me comments here on YouTube. Leave comments in the Ravelry thread for the episode thread. I love hearing from you, and I especially love it whenever you give me your feedback on things that I'm talking about, like your yarn suggestions and patterns and whatever. I just have so much fun interacting with you. So keep it coming. I'll talk to you later. Bye.